So hi there guys, welcome along to my channel. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Um, I'm going to start to do a couple of football related vlogs or videos, not really vlogs. Um, yeah, some football related videos on my channel, just where we talk about a few bits and bobs. It's probably the worst time to start doing videos at the moment because of everything that's going on. But I thought that on the other hand, it might be a good way of just to talk about what's going on. And kind of like how football can move forward after this pandemic outbreak and how things get back to some sort of new normality when things calm down. So there's three talking points that I want to talk to you guys today about football. Um, Being a Tottenham fan myself, I think the first thing to talk about will be them. Um, I mean, it sounds weird, but in a way, this kind of enforced break is the best thing that could have happened for Jose Mourinho and the squad, to be honest. I know that there was a lot of injuries that were mounting up with Sonny's hand injury. You had Bergwijn and Dombele's fitness was a bit of a nightmare as well. You had obviously Harry Kane's hamstring injury, which was a bit of a nightmare as well. And you can't help but feel that this enforced break of however long it might be, it could be up to 10 to 12 weeks without any football at all, might actually come back to almost boost Spurs in the run for a top. I mean, top four is looking very unlikely now, but maybe a top six space and maybe even a top four place if things really go well for them. But yeah, I mean, there was the pictures of Mourinho and Ndombele, and I think it was Sessegnon and there was one other, I think it might have been Davinson Sanchez. They were in a local park in Barnet. I think Mourinho got hammered for that a little bit because of the social distancing and everything but essential travel at the time, wasn't it? And to see him kind of running a really amateur looking, almost Sunday league kind of warm up in a park wasn't a great look, but it just goes to show, his mind is not um, his sorry, I don't really know how to word this. His mind hasn't been kind of blunted any less, to be honest. He is still completely focused on trying to turn us around, get his mark on this team. I know he's only got the one transfer market so far in which he signed Bergwijn, but with the players coming back um, from fitness when the football returns, I'd imagine it's probably going to return in June, July time. Um, in the gap where the Euros are, then who knows? You can imagine that he used every single minute of the downtime until they were told to break up to work on his patterns of play, his philosophy, his style of football. Um, because coming in halfway through a season, it's very, very difficult to try and get them training sessions um, in when you've got a game every other 3 days. And I know that he was basically thrown straight into it with the West Ham game in the league, wasn't he? So he's not had a massive amount of time to prepare really. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Spurs. It's certainly one to look out for. Um, but yeah, hopefully Jose can use this time to formulate some sort of plan to get it all back together and when the players return from fitness, who knows what might happen in the last in the remaining games of the season. The next thing I want to talk to you about is Barcelona. One of the biggest clubs in the world. Of course, they are constantly, the players seem to be constantly at war with the fans, and well, not necessarily the fans. I'd say the players are more at war with the board, to be honest, and the fans are at war with the board. Everyone's against the board, to be honest. It's not a great situation there when you consider how big that club are and how they should be run compared to how they are being run. I know that the players accepted a 70% pay cut so that the staff can afford, to take the time off or, to use the furlough scheme in Spain. I believe it's called an RTE or an ETR or something. But yeah, anyway, they eventually accepted this, and I know that Lionel Messi's statement was a bit of a dig at the board when he agreed his pay cut and stuff. So there's a lot of unhappy people around that club at the moment. And I was listening to the Spanish football podcast, one with Sid Lowe and Phil Kitchen-Miledes on it um, this week and last week, and they were talking about how I think it was 6 members of their current board have resigned, and 2 of them being vice presidents of the club. It's just absolute carnage, in a time where people should be coming together. The club seems even more divided than they already were. So it's an absolute disaster, to be honest. I know that I'm not sure if it was one of the vice presidents or just one of the board members who resigned. When he resigned, he went to one of the papers and said that a load of the board members at the club had their hand in the till, which was an amazing accusation to make, really, when you consider, they turn over billions of euros a year, and you know, to accuse high-ranking officials of a football club like Barcelona to be siphoning funds out of the club is it's a big, big accusation to make, and I think that Laporta, the current president, not Laporta, Bartomeu, sorry, he is going to be taking legal action as and when the official report is cleared up, and it's just a crazy situation to be in for the club, really. So we'll see what happens there. There's no sign as to when the league will get back up and running, but with this sort of thing going on in the background while people are losing their lives and people are being told to stay indoors, and you've got a slanging match between the highest ranking officials of the club, it's not a very good look at all. And I think that when that board is eventually dissolved and there's a new presidency in there and stuff like that, I think fans and the players will be glad to see it back a lot of the setup there at the moment. So yeah, let's see what happens, see how that develops. The never-ending soap drama that is Barcelona. Madness. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was the transfer window in the summer. So, obviously it's due to be June, July, and August, with a lot of them ending. It's usually the 31st of August, 1st of September, isn't it? Around that time. How will this coronavirus pandemic affect the transfer window with so much financial instability that's going to be hitting all the countries? You're seeing hundreds of billions of pounds that these countries are dropping into, stimulate the financial economy across Europe. It does make you wonder what the knock-on effect for these clubs are going to be. You're going to have fans who can't afford to go to games anymore, can't afford the tickets, can't afford the merchandise, which will have a knock-on effect with the sponsors who then can't afford to pay the big sponsorship deals, can't afford, you'll have punters who cancel their Sky Sports memberships, which will then affect the next TV deal. You're still getting people like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and people like that coming out saying that they're going to look to exploit the market, which didn't really sit right with me when he was on Sky Sports News the other day. It will be interesting to see just how many big deals are going to go ahead. It does look like, by all accounts, that Barcelona are probably going to go for Neymar again. I saw a report that PSG are looking to accept 4 instalments of £50 million a season, taking it up to 200 million, which will be quite interesting to see what happens there. It's no secret that Barca and Neymar have been flirting with each other ever since he kind of set his eyes on the Eiffel Tower, to be honest, Neymar. I don't think that move has ever really worked out. They bought him to secure the Champions League. It didn't work, and now he wants to go back with his old mate Messi. Well, don't leave in the first place. You just won a treble, and one of the best players in the world. You probably had a better chance winning the Ballon d'Or at Barcelona with a declining Messi. Not that Messi's ever in decline, but is he going to get ahead of Mbappe in the French Player of the League charts? Probably not. I think Mbappe's miles ahead of him as a player now. But yeah, it looks like that £200 million deal, or 200, kind of near about 200 million, will probably take place in the summer. By all accounts, the club desperately want him, and he's not going to turn that down a second time, is he? So you've got that one. But apart from that, there's not really too much else that's being spoken about at the moment. Maybe Jadon Sancho from Dortmund to Man United is being spoken about. I know that Dortmund have been making noises saying that, if he doesn't want to be at the club, they're not going to let him, kind of like kick his way out. They will accept a fee which they deem acceptable. Of course, they got him on a minimal fee. I think it was a couple of $100,000 from Man City when he turned down all of their contract offers a few years back, and he's just gone from strength to strength. He's one of the best youngsters in the world now. So, you know, it, they're going to make an absolute killing on him. Probably when they sell him this summer, I keep talking about this financial impact that clubs are going to be feeling, but Man United generate a lot of money, and if the chance comes up to sign a Jadon Sancho, they're going to go and do it because it's a statement signing. Regardless of whether they finish in the top four or not, it's still, to go and get a young, exciting English player like that is a massive statement for them, and it shows that they will still be there. So I think that regardless of how much money they have, they will make that work. But apart from that, there's not really much that's been mooted around, to be honest. Even Liverpool. I know that Chelsea have signed Ziyech, but that was pre-agreed before this virus come to town. Yeah, there's not really too much going on. There's a couple of bits and bobs about Mbappe entering the last 18 months of his contract. I mean, you will imagine that if PSG don't throw the world at him, they're talking about 500,000 a week. If Neymar goes, they'll just free up the money to give it to Mbappe. But if he turns that down and starts kicking up a fuss and forcing a move, then you can see him probably going to Real Madrid, but that won't be until the summer after next. So until next summer, when the contract stalemate enters its final year. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. I mean, at the end of the day, the money pales into insignificance really. As long as we get football back at some point, I think fans will happily give up 1 year's worth of transfer dealings just to have football back, just to have people healthy again. It doesn't really matter who clubs sign, to be honest. But you know, these big clubs, they have to keep feeding the waters, don't they? So if a deal can be done, I'm sure they'll find the funds to get some deals across the line. I would imagine that Sancho deal and that Neymar deal will probably get done this summer. Um, Maybe Sancho could go elsewhere. I would expect him to come back to England, a Premier League club. He is an England international. He was born and raised in London. Obviously, made his way to Manchester, and then he moved to Dortmund. So he's probably still got all of his friends and family here. So I would imagine that one of the big four or five will go for him, and then we'll just see what happens with the rest of all the clubs. It's certainly going to be an interesting time. I'm going to look to do a couple more videos as and when I seem necessary. But I thought it'd be good to upload a little video right now, just with the state of play, what's going on. Three talking points at the moment. See what's going on. If there's anything else you want me to talk about, let me know. Obviously, drop a comment, subscribe to me and stuff. I'm going to try and make this a semi-regular thing. So thanks a lot for checking in. Thanks for watching the video. Keep safe, stay indoors, wash your bloody hands, and see you soon. Cheers.